Hey everybody, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
You're watching Tesla Time News.
Episode 423.
On Now You Know.
What an incredible week it was for Tesla and SpaceX.
On Thursday, 10/10, Tesla held their We Robot event in Los Angeles, which we're going to talk about next, showing off their two newest vehicles, the Cybercab and the Robovan, along with their latest iteration of Optimus, the humanoid robot.
And then on Sunday morning, SpaceX launched Starship 5 from Starbase, and Elon and team made the dream of catching a Starship booster with Mechazilla arms a reality for the first time.
So incredible and amazing. This was why we started Tesla Time News 423 weeks ago, to follow and report on the incredible accomplishments of this person, Elon Musk, who dreams big and works insanely hard and smart to accomplish goals that seem impossible. Hats off to you, Elon, for bringing the future to all of humanity.
All right, let's get into all the fun stuff. The We Robot event last Thursday started a little late, but delivered a lot of excitement.
And a lot of fun. I mean, check out these movie posters throughout the Warner Brothers studios.
We have Optimus the Musk from 0 to 1.
Master Plan 4, drivers. Where we're going, we don't need drivers.
AI, it is afraid. It's totally alone. It's 69,429 miles away from home.
And then Elon said, robots everywhere.
But not a drop to drink. Well, that's not true. People were drinking at the party, and actually they had a robot bartender.
Our buddy Dave from the EV Dave YouTube channel. By the way, go subscribe to EV Dave for awesome content on Cybertruck and the coverage of Cybercab. Dave got a ride in the Cybercab. So we get to see the Robocab driving around. Thank you, Dave. We get to see some of the interior. I mean, let's talk about this. Dave is tall, and he had like a fist worth of headroom. So that's really good to see.
He told us that the seats were really wide.
Yeah, more than standard. They don't like hug you in like a car does. They're wide. And then some people thought it was a bench seat, but it's actually two seats. But it does look like you can scoot across to get out either door, because you could just fold up that armrest and then it's like just a cup holder between. That was really cool.
And it was pretty easy in and out with the butterfly doors because they get completely out of the way.
And they can open one at a time. I thought maybe they had to open together, but they can open individually, which is cool. And then, as you can see here, Dave can play games while he's driving if he wants to.
And this could unlock some new revenue streams, which we're going to be talking about over on our Investor Club bonus stories this week. You're going to want to check that out because we have a lot to talk about this week. So head on over to patreon.com/nowyouknow. Join us at the $10 level, and you'll be hearing a lot of cool stories this week.
Thank you to Keeps for sponsoring today's show. So whether you're looking to prevent hair loss, stimulate hair growth, or just take better care of the hair you have, Keeps has you covered.
Male pattern baldness is a genetic condition that affects 2 out of every 3 guys by the time they're 35.
Complete an online consultation to get matched with a provider who will tailor a treatment plan, if medically appropriate, to address your hair loss concerns.
Keeps offers both of the FDA-approved hair loss treatment options, as well as hair thickening shampoo, conditioner, and styling pomade.
All treatment plans are personalized to address your unique needs and recommended by a licensed medical provider specially trained in men's hair loss.
As part of the Keeps treatment plan, you can message your medical provider or the Keeps care team 24/7 through their secure messaging portal.
Keeps is discreet. They deliver treatments directly to your door in non-branded packaging.
Treatment is delivered right to your door on your schedule with the flexibility of 3, 6, and 12-month delivery options. Plus, you can adjust, pause, or cancel your plan at any time.
Most Keeps men notice results within 6 months of starting treatment.
Over the last 6 years, Keeps has treated over 1 million men experiencing hair loss with science-backed ingredients.
Keeps has over 5,000 5-star reviews.
Get professional care for hair loss from the comfort of your home without ever visiting a doctor's office or pharmacy.
Thanks again to Keeps for sponsoring this video. Hair loss stops with Keeps.
To get up to 50% off a 3-month plan, go to keeps.com/nowyouknow or click the link in the description, and that is keeps.com/nowyouknow.
All right, so we got to see the Cybercab revealed, and it was so cool. But I have a question, Jesse. What is it made out of?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it being cyber, a lot of people thought that it would be kind of like the Cybertruck, and the Cybertruck, of course, is made out of hardened stainless steel, which would sort of make sense for a Cybercab because it would be like dent-proof and bulletproof and scratch-resistant, but it's got a lot of curves on it.
Right.
And you can't really make hardened stainless steel curvy. That's why the Cybertruck looks like a Lego.
I searched all over social media to find someone who had like tapped it or brought a magnet or something, and I couldn't find anything. So please, in the comments below, let me know if you found a definitive answer. Is it plastic? Because some people said it was plastic. Is it some kind of steel? I need to know.
I feel like it would make sense to make it the cheapest material possible. And that's why I think it would be plastic, because these things are going to have a lot of abuse. I know that they look very slick and glamorous on, driving around a Hollywood backlot. But I think that really they're going to get banged up. And the cheaper those panels are to replace, and that's going to probably be plastic, the better for Tesla.
Yeah, and also, can't you embed color into plastic so you wouldn't need to do the whole painting step?
That's true. And that way, if it got scratched, it wouldn't rust and it would just continue to look the same, and you could really buff it down, even if the scratch was really deep, and you wouldn't have to repaint.
But where did the Cybercab design influence come from?
Well, QNooks said Demolition Man vibes, and Elon said that was part of the inspiration, to be honest.
And then Steve Jurvetson, who used to be on the board of Tesla, said, from iRobot to We Robot, the uncanny design decoder. And so, yeah, you remember the movie with Will Smith? It seems like a lot of these things came to life at the event.
Now, we did see some video of Optimus taking packages out of a trunk.
I'm not sure if that was the actual Cybercab trunk. It looked just like a Model Y or something.
But it does look like there's going to be tons of trunk space for passengers to put their items into on the Cybercab. And my guess is that when the Cybercab arrives at the destination, the trunk will automatically open if it senses that there's stuff in there, and the passengers will be able to get their stuff out.
Or maybe the Optimus at the destination will take your stuff out for you.
And maybe you weren't even in the car.
Attendees gave the tires a close look, and at least the rear tires appear to be 225/60 R12 tires with huge aero covers. But then a lot of people looked even closer and saw that part of that, what looked like a cover, was just paint. And so that sparked a whole controversy where people are like, that's not real. I think it was for the event. I don't think eventually they will have painted tires. I think they just needed to come up with something quick and fast for the event.
And it makes it look cool.
Right.
You can't make the aero covers cover too much of the tire, because
or else it won't be a tire
you'd
anymore.
hit a bump and then it would pop the aero cover off, and that would not be good.
I mean, I suppose maybe you could paint the tire. I don't know.
Sure, you can. It's called paint. Goes on to things. I mean, and again, I think everyone needs to take a little step back, take a little deep breath. Are these going to be exactly what the Cybercab looks like? Maybe, maybe not. But yeah, maybe the tires won't be painted. Is that going to be the end of the world? Not really. This was an unveiling event.
Right.
A lot of times, many car companies will unveil a vehicle, a future vehicle, and then it will look nothing, absolutely nothing like their concept. Tesla is actually pretty good about making their unveiling look pretty close to what they are actually promoting at the time.
Yeah, I mean, remember Cybertruck? It looks almost identical, just some little tweaks here and there.
Tweaks.
But it's not like, they unveiled the Cybertruck and it looked like a Cybertruck and then we got just a Ford,
Right. Or at least they don't dumb down the design. Like the first Model X, right? It had the Falcon Wing doors, but it also had the nose cone.
Right.
Then they got rid of the nose cone, but they kept the Falcon Wing doors.
Right. It appears that the Cybercab doesn't have any charge port that we could find, so it appears that it'll charge wirelessly using inductive charging.
And this makes a lot of sense, because then Cybercabs can charge themselves just by parking over wireless inductive charging pads.
However, that doesn't mean that they for sure won't have a plug. We have to remember these were just prototypes.
But Tesla did say that wireless charging was going to be a part of Cybercab.
Yep.
And that makes sense, because, you're going to have all these autonomous robots driving around, and if they can't charge themselves, then pretty quickly you'd have a bunch of dead autonomous driving things.
And you'd need either humans or robots to do the charging, so this eliminates that step.
Now, a lot of people are just freaking out. They're like, oh my God, people are going to have to install new charging infrastructure. I think there probably will be a plug. Again, this was an unveiling, and they probably didn't want to show a plug because it's not, you don't have to.
True.
It could be in the trunk. It could be in a frunk that we haven't seen yet. Or it could be that there will be a plug on the side, so that way you can charge it up. It makes sense to me, at least.
Yeah. And that leads to the next thing we learned about at the We Robot event.
In the early days of talking about Cybercab, we got a lot of pushback from viewers who were like, but how are you going to keep it clean? Now, normally in an Uber, for example, the car is kept clean by the Uber driver.
But as Tesla showed in a teeny bit of footage at the We Robot event, they seem to have been developing a vacuum/cleaning robot that can quickly vacuum and clean the interior of the car. So I'm going to conjecture.
Conjecture time.
that these cleaning robots will reside at superchargers or wireless charger locations and will be able to quickly clean the cars.
Now, maybe the interior cameras will sense when the car needs to be cleaned, or maybe it will just happen regularly every charge. But looking at the design of the Cybercab interior, it doesn't look like there's that much need for cleaning.
Right. I mean, it seems like Tesla reduced kind of the nooks and crannies. And my guess is that as this design evolves, they'll be able to minimize even more nooks and crannies that could be kind of hard to clean.
Because when a car company sells you a car, they do not care how hard it is for you to clean that car. That's why you swear at yourself every time you're vacuuming the car and you're like, wow, I didn't even realize that crumbs could get in there. And now there's 10 billion crumbs, in this little spot and in this little spot. And then, the cup holders get all grungy and I have to, lean into the car and try and wipe it all out, and you never get it perfectly clean. That's why people like new cars and they don't like old cars.
If you ever look in the back of like a lot of police cars, they've simplified it because they know it's really going to be full of disgustingness and they make it easy to clean. Same thing in old cabs. If you look at some of the old cabs that were in cities, the whole back seat was just one big bench seat that was easy to clean because it was vinyl. And I think that, they're going for that. It's real easy to clean design. Now, Elon said that the Cybercab should start production in 2026, although Elon admitted that was an ambitious timeline and that he has been off on his timing before. But he wrapped up by saying that Cybercab would start manufacturing before 2027.
Which is 2026, last I checked.
And from what he said before, it should be manufactured at Giga Texas.
Now, will it only come in the driverless variant, or do you think that there will be a steering wheel and a pedals variant too?
I personally think that it'll only be made without steering wheels and pedals. But what do you think?
Well, we asked our patrons and we'll have their poll results later in the show.
By the way, if you'd like to help support the show and be part of the Patreon poll every week, please join us on Patreon at the $2 a month level. It really helps us out. All right, so let's go to the Robovan. The Robovan.
So Elon started by calling it the Robovan. Robovan would be probably the normal pronunciation, but Elon likes to have goofy, funny things.
Can I just say it's not a van? Vans don't hold 20 people.
More of a bus? More of a train?
I don't know. I would have come up with a really cool new name for it because it's not a van. But
if you call it something different, then people are going to be like, well, I don't understand what it is. And calling it a Robovan explains what it is without having to even see it.
Cyber transport carrier.
Yeah, that's a little too long. So the Robovan seats 20 people.
Yeah.
It has actual seats for 20.
It can also hold cargo.
Yes. So Amazon delivery van. Bye-bye, Rivian. Because, no drivers needed.
No, I mean, Optimus could deliver the packages. It's got this really cool low platform, which means easy on and off. And a bunch of our viewers said no child seat is needed when you have something like this. Because do you see child seats on trains or buses? No.
But trains are supposed to not crash into something. And if they do, it's supposed to either be horrific or the train just keeps plowing through the thing.
Well, how about buses?
We've just gone, well, I don't know.
I think when you get to this level of passengers, NHTSA doesn't have the same requirements. So I think that's how you get around having to have car seats.
Really? Yeah. I mean, even if you did put car seats in it, it'd be much easier to put a car seat in this huge open air thing as opposed to having to cram it in the back of your car.
Yeah, I suppose. Mandy said, what inspired the design?
And Elon said, Art Deco trains.
I think this must have been really fun for Franz to have a new design element. Imagine Elon comes in one day, he's like, Cybervan, make it happen, right? And he's like, oh, not another triangle.
Well, I mean, imagine if GM was trying to make a Robovan. They'd be like, we need to make a Robovan, so it's got to look real cool. And then he would have made this, and they'd be like, well, that's crazy. You can't make it look like that. We need big, friendly headlights that look like eyes. How is this going to be in the next Cars movie?
Brian says, thank you, Tesla team and Elon Musk, for boldly breaking into a new design language for this epic and ahead. Robovan is an absolute amazing and stunning work of art and engineering. The world changed today, and may it inspire a generation.
Elon said, thanks. The view from the inside is one of extreme openness with visibility in all directions, although it may appear otherwise from the outside.
Yeah, when I first saw it, I thought there was absolutely no windows. And then you go inside and you see that there are. Elon said the unusually low ground clearance is achieved by having an automatic load leveling suspension that raises or lowers based on smooth or bumpy road conditions.
Wait, so it's auto load leveling?
Yeah.
Because I was wondering how the Robovan has such a low ground clearance, but it's sort of like a bus.
Right.
You see the buses, they pull up and then they kneel, they go.
Yeah, but almost every bus I've ever seen, you have to climb upstairs. And that means you need a whole special contraption to get handicapped people on and off at the buses. That means as you get older, it gets harder and harder to get up and down onto buses. This was not a bus in that sense. It's just a walk on. And they could even have some kind of ramp that comes out. That would be really cool.
That would be cool.
Now, if you're wondering where passengers are going to store all their bags and packages,
the front and rear both have storage areas.
I mean, that would be cool to have Optimus come along and pick it out and be like, here's your bag, sir. Elon said this is the actual interior of the Robobus/van. See, he's changing the name of it already. It's now Robobus. Meant to feel like a spaceship.
And as Franz says in this clip from Techie Danny, Tesla has only been working on Robovan for a very short amount of time. Here he says days.
Yeah, I think Robovan is actually what delayed the We Robot event from 8/8. Remember, that was the original date in August. And then Elon pushed it back to 10/10.
I think Elon wanted to show off the Robovan, and Franz and team needed more time to get it presentable.
I totally agree. How about the Robovan as a Tesla service van? Here we see Optimus changing a tire on a Tesla that he obviously just got out of the Robovan.
And yeah, you can hold a lot of tools and parts in the Robovan, which would make it an excellent service vehicle.
But not just that. How about the Robovan as a school bus for children?
I mean, we are huge advocates for electric school buses here on the show because we hate diesel fumes being anywhere near children.
Having a 20-seat Robovan school bus could be awesome.
And I know what you're saying. You're saying, well, who's going to look after those children?
Somebody please think of the children!
So you're telling me it's better to have somebody who needs to drive a bus full of...
Sit down!
Yeah, they need to drive a bus with 70 children on it, and then all they have at their disposal is a big mirror. And they go every once in a while.
Johnny!
But when they're taking a turn, they're not looking. And that's, I mean, so
you could have an Optimus on board or a human.
You could have a human on board who's making sure that there's no bullying happening.
You could have teaching going on.
You could do a bunch of different things. So how about Robovan as an RV? Because there's no designated space for a driver, steering wheels and controls are gone, etc., there is so much more room for living than a traditional RV.
And just think about being able to fall asleep in your RV and wake up in an entirely new location without having to worry about driving.
I mean, this changes how campgrounds work. I mean, you'd want a campground to kind of get out and have fun, but you wouldn't have to stay there all night. You could be having your road trip and never have to drive.
I know.
And also, Starlink.
Yeah, it could be built in.
So that way you're in the middle of absolutely nowhere and you still have internet connectivity. This would be such an exciting vehicle for a lot of people.
Yeah, and as Elon said, it will transform the look of the roads. But let's not stop there. How about robo food trucks? I mean, the possibilities are endless for the Robovan.
And we're going to talk more about that on our Investor Club bonus stories this week, so you can join us over on Patreon.
So I wanted to ask this question of our viewers. I think Robovan would be great in the boring tunnels, except for the fact that I think boring tunnels are probably too small in diameter at the moment. Not to say that they couldn't make them bigger, but I feel like even if this could physically fit, it's probably too tight a fit.
Now, I just want to say, Robovan has been in the mind of Elon Musk for a while. When we first saw the Boring Company presentation, we saw Robovans. Now, they didn't look Art Deco. They looked like they were entirely glass, but that was mainly for the presentation.
But I just want to say, knowing a lot more now about trailers and stuff, this is obviously 8 feet wide or very close.
Sure.
And if a boring tunnel is 9 feet in diameter at the widest, when you put the road in, I just don't think physically it will fit.
I think that they will come up with, I mean,
maybe
again,
a smaller version of Robovan?
Yeah, you could do it a million different ways, but I'm saying if you can fit anywhere close to 20 passengers per Robovan, this is going to completely change the way that we've been currently thinking about the Boring Company. Because up until now, everyone's going, well, it doesn't transport enough people, the throughput's not enough. And you're right. In a Model Y, driving down the thing, the number of people you can fit in it is like 3, maybe 4, because right now they have safety drivers. Even if you took out the safety drivers, we're talking 4, maybe 5. And while that might, move many families, it's still, the amount of throughput is not that high. Imagine for a moment you're at a subway station and instead of the train, you're sitting there for the train waiting for 5 to 10 minutes, and then a humongous train comes in that can hold, 500 people. Instead, it's every 10 seconds, a Robovan pulls in, people get out, you get in. Next Robovan comes in, people come out, you get in. And so it's a lot more like an elevator in that sense, where the throughput is going to continually be high because you can still fit 20 people at a time. So as people walk onto the platform, you're probably going to get an empty Robovan most of the time.
Remember, we just talked to the CEO of Lit Thinking. There's a product that they make that I think would be perfect for this. If you haven't seen our interview, by the way, go check it out. We'll put it right here.
But I think that Robovan for Boring Tunnel, they're just made for each other. And if it gets used almost nowhere else, it's going to be in the Boring Tunnel for sure.
Now, this was part of the We Robot presentation. Elon said so much green space potential in cities when vast parking lots aren't needed. And so we can see here, like Dodger Stadium going from surrounded by parking lots to surrounded by parks.
Mm-hmm. And I think that it's really smart for them to show parks because visually you get to see what has been sort of taken back.
But it could be schools. It could be
Right.
apartments. It could be lots of things.
I mean, to use Dodger Stadium as an example, I think it would start to look a lot more like Fenway Park, where, I mean, I'm not going to say that Fenway Park is perfect in terms of parking. It's not. But when everybody can kind of get on Robovans to get out of the city, and the park wasn't built in the middle of the city kind of grew around it and it naturally kind of flows, I think it's going to be a lot better for like specifically Dodger Stadium. But Dodger Stadium is not unique.
No, and I mean, Fenway Park is a beloved park because it is part of the city, whereas Dodger Stadium, sorry to say it, I love the park itself, but it's not part of the city. It's cut off from the city.
You're not going to be walking past and be like, oh my gosh, we're right next to Dodger Stadium. Unless
now it
you're
could
on
be.
some weird hike through LA.
Exactly. But now with a greenway, it could be. It's really exciting.
Exactly.
All right, let's now go to Optimus. So, I mean, Optimus was there serving drinks.
Yeah, for sure. Let's do it. Little video. Hey. Sweet. Thanks, man. Bro. Appreciate it.
We got to see the new 22 degree of freedom Robo hand.
Yeah, up from 11 degrees of freedom. And Elon says it will be able to play the piano, maybe even some guitar. Now, Brian said some folks really don't understand how we just left the iPhone era. We are entering the personal robotics era. The world changed tonight. Have a beer.
Elon said, yes, this marks a fork in the road.
And then, of course, if you're going to have Optimus, you're going to need to have Optimus dancing.
And Tesla Optimus tweeted, me robot.
Marquise Brownlee was there, and he said, playing charades with the Tesla Optimus robot last night, this is either the single greatest robotics and LLM demo the world has ever seen, or it's mostly remotely operated by a human, no in between.
Okay, so what game can we play?
What games do I play? I play charades. You want to play charades?
That sounds great.
You do.
Yeah, let's do it. I got one for you. Ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it. One word. Ready? All right, here we go.
I'm pretty sure we all play.
What I'd assume would happen is that his feet
It looks like you're fishing right
like
now.
what Garfield is doing on
That's right. You got it. Nice work.
the same thing.
Here's some Air 5.
Air 5.
So from watching this and many other attendees' videos from that night, it is apparent that the Optimus robots were being mostly remote operated by humans. Humans were listening and speaking and remotely controlling the upper bodies. And I know this because attendees were told this by Tesla employees,
So, I mean, AI was controlling the legs and the feet.
but not the upper torso and the head and the hands. Now, does this mean that autonomous AI robots are not real?
No, it means that for this event, probably because Optimus has so far been trained for factory tasks, that it wouldn't have made as much fun as a party goer.
Now, does that mean that it never will?
No. Again, Elon is trying to share his vision of the future, and most people just don't have that much imagination.
Because you got to keep in mind, these robo-taxis that were driving around the event could not take a left turn, get onto the freeway, and start driving into LA.
Right, it's an event.
That was not allowed to happen because we're not there yet.
Right.
So showing Optimus robots being controlled by humans is showing what it will be like, which is kind of what the whole event was. And so using remote humans to talk and control the hands showed off what Optimus will be able to do in a few years.
But of course, controversy is what gets clicks.
And we saw the Tesla stock price drop 8% the next day after the event. Surprise, surprise.
It happens often after a Tesla event, which we're going to dive deeper into on Investor Club Bonus Story this week.
So please join us over on Patreon at patreon.com/nowyouknow.
One of the reasons is that, as Elon says, the press gets grumpy when we don't invite them. Better if people just see video clips from the event and judge for themselves.
So he didn't invite the press.
Right.
And
over on Investor Club Bonus Stories, I think I have some data that I haven't seen anyone else show yet. Did a little digging. Grok helps me. Now, I hate to sound like a broken record, but another purpose of the We Robot event was recruiting.
Tesla currently has 35 job openings for the bot team in Palo Alto.
Everything from embedded software engineer Tesla bot intern for winter spring 2025
to senior electrical engineer and senior deep learning vision engineer.
Elon said, join XAI to build a maximally truth-seeking AI that will enable discovery of new physics and invent useful technologies. All right, it's time for the Cybertruck Roundup.
The Cybertruck Roundup, sponsored by MagBack.
So we installed a MagBack phone mount charger in our Cybertruck, and I am really enjoying it.
If you're driving a Tesla, the last thing you want to do is muck up that beautiful spaceship interior with a clunky phone mount.
But let's face it, it's nice to have your phone where you can safely glance at it, right in your line of sight, rather than looking down all the time.
So check this out. With the MagBack, it looks like your phone is just hovering next to your screen, right where you need it to be.
So sleek, so sexy, just like the vehicle you're driving.
And your phone does not move. It is firmly on the charger mount using magnets.
Now, I have an awesome MagBack phone case. It feels really nice in my hands. So I just pop it on my MagBack charger mount and it starts wirelessly charging. Love it.
So if you've been looking for the best charger mount for your phone, head over to magback.com.
But don't just take our word for it. The MagBack phone charger mount gets 4.5 stars with over 11,000 verified reviews.
The Cybertruck version comes with an extension USB cable and uses 3M damage-free adhesive to attach quickly and easily to your display frame.
Use our link in the show notes and save today.
At the We Robot event, there was a Cybertruck apparently full self-driving around, and not just any Cybertruck, but a police Cybertruck.
And what's so funny is that the event was so cool that was the last thing people were looking at.
Exactly. Tesla lead engineer Wes Morrill hit Cybertruck with a dead blow sledgehammer.
Solid.
Did Cybertruck just say solid?
Solid.
So did the Cybertruck just talk?
Whoa, that was incredible! How'd you do that?
Well, Cybertruck tweeted, "Hit me baby one more time."
Wait, so is this going to be a new feature that Cybertrucks are going to be able to like interact with people with a voice?
Well, I mean, you can do that yourself now with the app.
Yeah, but I mean, like there were special cool rear lights that came on when he hit it.
Oh, you saw that?
Is this going to be a new like fart mode? It's going to be like hit me mode?
I hope not. I really hope not.
You just see people walking up to Cybertrucks hitting them. We showed you the Irvine, California's Cybertruck police vehicle recently, outfitted by Unplugged Performance. Look at the reaction when the Cybertruck arrived at a school recently.
And Cybertruck tweeted, bringing joy.
I mean, it's just so much fun to see kids just lighting up when they see something like that. Anyway, if you want to find out all about Cybertruck, what's going on in the world, head on over to Cybertruck Owners Club. They help sponsor the show, and that is where we find all of this great information because there's thousands of Cybertrucks around the world now. And I mean, around the world.
On our Now Let's Review channel, we just released our review of the EMOVE Cruiser V2 electric scooter. Now, of course, we got into all of the features and specs in our review, but there is one metric that says a lot.
What's that?
You love riding it.
Oh, yeah, yes. I have developed this kind of intrinsic metric about products. I think we all have it. Every now and then, a product comes along and we don't want to share it or give it up. Now, we're lucky. We've gotten to experience dozens of scooters over the last few years. Some you get on and you're like, okay, that's fine. Does the job. Others you kind of dislike immediately. And then occasionally you get on a scooter and you're like, oh yeah, I really enjoy this one. The EMOVE Cruiser V2 is such a scooter for me. They got the suspension just right. They got the acceleration just right. The power, I just love it.
Now, it is heavy, but if you have a long commute, this may be the scooter for you because it has the longest range of any scooter on the market.
So go check out our review on Now Let's Review and see if this scooter makes sense for you.
And by the way, Now Let's Review is a separate YouTube channel that we run, so you're going to see us over there. If you want to check it out, head on over and subscribe.
Yeah, please do. The more subscribers we get, by the way, the better stuff we can review for you. So on October 11th, Tesla Asia posted, Giga Shanghai achieves 3 million production milestone.
It was 13 months ago on September 6th, 2023, that Giga Shanghai had produced the 2 millionth vehicle.
13 months before that, on August 14th of 2022, Giga Shanghai produced its 1 millionth car.
Tesla just produced its 7 millionth vehicle, so that means that Giga Shanghai alone has produced about 43% of Tesla's vehicles since it produced its first car on October 18th, 2019.
On the other side of the globe, Tesla's GigaBerlin reportedly just produced their 400,000th car at the end of September.
So when did GigaBerlin start producing cars?
March of 22 is when GigaBerlin produced its first Model Y.
So in 2.5 years, GigaBerlin only produced 400,000 cars, but Shanghai made 3 million?
Well, Giga Shanghai has been at it for twice as long, so 5 years instead of 2.5 years at Giga Berlin. So it took Giga Shanghai 34 months to produce their first millionth car. So Giga Berlin still has 4 months to go.
Yeah, I don't think GigaBerlin's going to break Giga Shanghai's record.
It really shows you how incredible Giga Shanghai is. I mean, they just crank out cars fast. Tesla's done it 3 times before, and now Tesla is doing it again for the 4th time.
That's right. If you remember last year, just for a 2-month window, Tesla allowed Tesla owners who had bought full self-driving on one of their previous cars to transfer full self-driving over to a new Tesla purchase.
Then Tesla brought back the FSD transfer for a 2nd time this year until the end of Q1.
Then at the last Tesla shareholder meeting, a shareholder asked if Tesla could bring the full self-driving transfer back again for 1 more quarter, and Elon said yes.
Okay, 1 more quarter. All right. You got it. 1 more quarter.
So that transfer window ended in September. Well, now on the Tesla website, it appears that Tesla has extended the FSD transfer window until the end of this year.
So why do you think Tesla is extending this?
It can only really be for 2 possible reasons, I think. Number 1, to help boost sales in Q4, because that's why they've done it before. Number 2, I think because so many current Tesla owners who bought FSD potentially years ago, like I did with Sparky, would get really mad at Tesla if they spent money on FSD that never ended up really working on their car. I mean, like with Sparky, a 2016 Model X, it never could fully self-drive. So I've had 8 years of a car that I bought full self-driving on and it didn't do it. And I think that if Tesla didn't offer this, you could maybe sue them.
I think you could probably sue them without it, but you can sue anybody for anything at any time.
You got no evidence, you got no case.
But I mean, I think you'd have a good argument for that you bought something with a product that they didn't actually provide.
Yes. And I mean, to be fair, you spent how much for full self-driving on Sparky?
I think it was $2,500 at the time.
Okay. So that, I mean, you did pay a lot less. It's kind of like...
I could have put it in Tesla stock for 8 years.
That's true.
And I don't know. Are they going to just keep offering this forever? I think the thing is they didn't want to kind of secretly give it to... Zach, we'll give it to Zach. Because then if I posted about it, then it'd be, wildly unfair.
Well, and it's also very easy to misconstrue because someone who bought, say, a Model 3 back in 2017 who right now might have like hardware 3 is going to be like, well, why did Zach get it? And it's like, well, but, Sparky's never going to be able to fully self-drive because it doesn't even have all of the cameras, whereas your car kind of technically, I think, will.
It also, because this whole hardware 3, hardware 4 argument about whether hardware 3 will ever really be able to do FSD, I think it's also a way for Tesla to get those people to just go ahead and buy the latest cars with hardware 4, because then you're like, I'll definitely be able to have FSD. Right. I don't know. Comment down below. It is very controversial.
The Tesla team just fixed a jitter bug. That had been a part of the full self-driving visualization for the past 4 years.
So are you talking about that thing where like when a car is passing you and you look at your screen, it looks kind of like it's jittering?
Yeah, it wasn't smoothly driving alongside you. Instead, it looked like it was stuttering all over the place. There's been a lot of really funny videos of people who are like driving behind a truck and then like on the visualization, the truck kind of goes like, and then it like the truck is now facing them in the visualization, like staring at them, which is funny. Obviously, it wasn't really happening because trucks don't do that. Well, now it appears that Tesla drivers have started noticing with the latest update, 12.5.6, that vehicles are now passing smoothly. So check out this X post from Dirty Tesla.
Yeah, Dirty Tesla says, look how smooth, crazy. And then Ashok Elaswamy, Tesla's head of autopilot and AI, said, because we fixed a 4-year-old bug in the rendering. So your car wasn't actually seeing it this way. It was just how it rendered, just to put that to rest.
Okay, because otherwise the car would have gone like, whoa, what the, right, I think we all understand that. All right, it's time for some SpaceX news.
Welcome back to the Starman Report. I'm Eli Burton, your host, and we've got a lot of exciting news in the world of space. China's pioneering Xi'an 19 satellite has successfully completed its mission, returning to Earth after 2 weeks in low Earth orbit. Launched on September 27th aboard a Long Mark 2D rocket, this satellite is China's first to be both retrievable and reusable. And it touched down smoothly at the Dongfei landing site in the Gobi Desert at 10:39 p.m. Eastern on October 10th. This mission carried a variety of payloads, including experiments in plant and microbial breeding and testing of new technologies. This marks a significant leap forward in reusable space technology for China. It's not the holy grail that is reusable rockets, but they're definitely making progress. As nations like China advance their capabilities in space, international collaborations and commercial ventures are also on the rise. A big piece of this next wave in space is new orbital habitats. As the current space station, the ISS, ages, new players are stepping up to take the mantle. SpaceX is partnering with a company called VAST to launch the VAST Haven 1 on board a SpaceX rocket as soon as 2025. This new Haven 1 space station is designed with a focus of improving astronaut living conditions. Currently slated for a 2025 launch on a Falcon 9 rocket, Haven 1 features advanced design elements advised by veteran astronaut Andrew Fustool, aiming to enhance connectivity, privacy, and overall functionality in microgravity environments. The focus on improving life and quality of life in space underpins the critical developments needed as we look for more ambitious missions beyond Earth's orbit. This colossal rocket is not just a test vehicle. It is a cornerstone of NASA's lunar ambitions. Of its many potential use cases, the Starship is under contract with NASA to deliver its astronauts from orbit to the lunar surface as part of the Artemis program. NASA official Lori Glaze said, "The space agency is really looking forward to the Starship flight, and there's no doubt that the human landing system is the critical path for Artemis 3. And yes, there has been some tension recently between Elon and some of the federal agencies. But rest assured, NASA is very invested in the success of SpaceX and Starship." And when asked if Elon was a distraction for NASA, NASA's administrator Bill Nelson said this.
"Well, they distract you, but they don't distract NASA."
Well said, Bill. Well, guys, that's all for this time. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode of the Starman Report. And back to you, Zach and Jesse.
Thank you, Eli. We'll put a link in the show notes below to an exclusive LA Comic-Con episode.
There are only 300 serial numbered copies printed, and there will never be reprints.
So get your exclusive episode of Starman and Stanley today at theadventuresofstarman.com. So with some more SpaceX news, I think there was a little SpaceX news this week. What was it? There was something. Oh, right. It seems hard to believe that these words are actually coming out of my mouth, but on Sunday morning, just about 7 minutes after Starship launched for its 5th test flight from Starbase, the booster returned, much like a Falcon 9 booster does, except the Starship booster is so much bigger, and SpaceX attempted to catch it with what Elon calls Mechazilla.
Mechazilla is the launch tower with the 2 giant arms, which helps lift Starship into place atop the Super Heavy booster, and then catch the Super Heavy booster.
And it worked.
We can see those chopsticks now. Mechazilla has caught the booster.
I could not believe my eyes as the booster came screaming back to Earth at over 1,000 kilometers an hour, and then just 2 kilometers away, somehow, like magic, the 13 Raptor engine slowed itself and gently landed it into the cradling arms of Mechazilla.
I couldn't believe it was happening before my eyes. It didn't seem possible, especially on its very first attempt ever.
Yeah, I mean, this is insane. This is a 23-story building coming back to Earth, right? It was one of the most inspiring feats of engineering I think I've ever witnessed. And that's after just witnessing humanoid robots walk around with people and autonomous cybercabs driving hundreds of people around at the We Robot event. It feels like humanity just entered the future this week.
Elon said just inspected the Starship booster, which the arms have now placed back in its launch mount. Looks great. A few outer engine nozzles are warped from heating and some other minor issues, but these are easily addressed. Starship is designed to achieve reflight of its rocket booster ultimately within an hour after liftoff. The booster returns within 5 minutes, so the remaining time is reloading propellant and placing a ship on top of the booster.
Now, we want to remind everyone that SpaceX went from this in 2019 to this.
Then, about 40 minutes after Mechazilla caught the booster, Starship also returned to Earth.
So Starship has 10.5 tons of heat shield to protect it from the 26,000 degree Fahrenheit, that's 14,000 degrees Celsius temperatures, as it screams back through Earth's atmosphere at 16,700 miles an hour.
That is 27,000 kilometers an hour. Starship splashed down precisely where SpaceX wanted it to in the Indian Ocean, and we know this because SpaceX had placed buoys with cameras, and we got to watch as Starship actually soft landed right where it was supposed to.
Absolutely incredible.
Now, if you remember during the Starship 4 test flight back in June, we got incredible footage during Starship's descent of the flaps almost melting off.
This time with Starship 5, SpaceX added even more heat shielding in key spots, and the flaps held up a lot better.
And we got all this amazing footage because Starship had Starlink mounted all over the Starship and a lot more camera views than we got last time.
Yeah.
And the cameras seem to have held up better. So it seems like maybe they beefed up the cameras and the lenses a little bit. It was amazing.
Elon was obviously excited. He said ship landed precisely on target, second of the 2 objectives achieved, one step closer to Kardashev. And that's basically getting us closer to a Kardashev 1 planet, which would be able to use all of the energy that we get to power ourselves. Elon Musk then went on to say, SpaceX team are such great humans, more than twice the power of the Saturn V moon rocket. Next version will be 3x.
Elon said the new launch pad is already designed for the 10,000 tons of thrust version, which is almost exactly 3 times more powerful than the Saturn V moon rocket.
And then SpaceX put out this video of Star Factory, because I think we forget about that. If you're going to have starships, you need a Star Factory. The 1 million square foot Star Factory brings many parts of the manufacturing process under one roof for the first time, moving as much system integration work as possible earlier in the build process with the goal of eventually producing 1,000 ships a year.
Elon said the Star Factory is amazing, and you can see it close up from the public road.
Now let's switch over to Starlink. This week, Starlink said, for those impacted by Hurricanes Helene and Milton, Starlink service is now free through the end of the year to help with response and recovery efforts. You remember just last week, he had said just for a month.
Elon said extending the free period through the end of the year for those affected by the hurricanes.
And Elon posted this: basic camping solar panels plus a little battery will power Starlink all day.
And before we wrap up SpaceX news, I thought, just like any good catch, we should see it from a few more angles
Good
on
point.
the replay.
Yeah.
And I want to thank everybody who filmed this amazing event and put it up for everyone to see. You guys rock. Getting yourself down there, filming it, and then putting it up on the internet. It's so great. Thank you so much.
Well, I mean, because again, there's controversy the second it lands. People are like, oh, it almost hit the tower. And no, it didn't. If you look from these other angles, it did not almost hit anything. Because people are like, you see, it bent the nozzles. No, it didn't. That is not from hitting anything. This was their first attempt, and it looked like it was their 100th attempt.
I know.
It's just incredible.
It's really insane.
I had no idea we'd even pull off the Sunday launch, let alone the catch. I mean, it's mind-blowing that this all happened in 1 week. All right, it's time for Into the Future.
Sponsored by our friends over at Henson Shaving.
Escape into the future.
You can get the best razor in the world. It's called the Henson Razor. And if you want, you can get 100 blades for free. All you have to do is use our code NOWYOUKNOW when you check out.
So U.S. automaker GM told investors right before its investor event last Tuesday, as GM continues to expand its EV business, the company is no longer branding its electric vehicle architecture, battery, and cells, or EV components, with the Ultium name, starting in North America.
Wait, so GM is ditching their Ultium batteries?
Well, GM claims that they are just ditching the Ultium name, but I actually think if you read between the lines of this next statement from GM's VP of Battery Cells and Pack, Kurt Kelty.
Wait, he used to work for Tesla?
Right.
Okay.
We reported on Kelty leaving Tesla for GM on Patreon bonus stories back in March. Kelty's statement here implies to me that GM is going to ditch the whole Ultium platform. See what you think. He said, we're moving from a single source, single form factor, single chemistry to a multi-chemistry, multi-form factor, multi-supplier strategy. What we're going to do going forward is really optimize for each vehicle. I love that multi-supplier strategy. So you were going to make Ultium batteries in your factory. Now you're like, we'll just buy batteries from whoever will sell it to us.
But also, I just want to point out, isn't that the exact opposite strategy of Ultium? The Ultium platform is going to be like, we're going to make the best platform, and then we're going to put 1 million different kinds of cars on top of the platform. And he's going, that's a stupid idea.
Right.
It seems like when he joined them in March, he was like, okay, guys, this Ultium thing, it's dumb.
Yes.
We need to optimize for each vehicle. You can't just slap different cars on top of the same architecture. And I just let me just get this straight. GM CEO Mary Barra announced back in March of 2020, that's 4.5 years ago, that GM had their answer to Tesla, the GM Ultium EV platform.
With the strength of our Ultium platform, as we introduce the Ultium platform, the cost will go down 40%.
Right, and then she doubled down in October of 2021.
As we launch these two first products off of the Ultium platform, we're going to look to see how fast can we go.
Do you think that you can catch Tesla by 2025?
Absolutely, Phil.
I just want to point out that GM supposedly had a 9% U.S. EV market share back in 2021, and today GM has slipped to a 5.6% U.S. EV market share.
Mary, I can remember talking to you way back in January about the need for America to lead in electric vehicles. And I can remember your dramatic announcement that by 2035, GM would be 100% electric. You changed the whole story, Mary, wherever you are. There you are. You did, Mary. You electrified the entire automobile industry. I'm serious. You led, and it matters.
Good job leading, Mary.
You did it. You did it.
Yeah.
You're going to catch up to Tesla. When was it? Next year?
Yep, 2025.
Absolutely, Phil.
They're going to make 1 million EVs next year and beat Tesla because
Right.
Tesla doesn't make... Oh, they do make more than 1 million
They
EVs.
do make more than 1 million EVs.
Well...
Ooh, wow. It's almost like you didn't even think what the competition was going to do.
This is so corporate. What you do is you first kill the name and then you kill the whole idea. Basically going right back to what they started with, which was, hey, let's have LG make the Bolt. Like, I'm talking the whole powertrain, right? And then we'll just slap a GM body on it. And then they're like, no, we're going to stop making the Bolt because we're going to use our Ultium platform. Then a guy from Tesla comes along and goes, that was stupid. And now they're going to go back to making it with other suppliers like they used to because they couldn't pull it off.
I feel like this
Which is what we told you.
I feel like this would have been a really good like part of like The Sopranos or something. It'd be like, hey, did you guys hear that Tony killed Gerald?
Who's Gerald?
Vinny. He killed Vinny.
Wait, he killed Vinny?
Well, no, he killed Gerald because he changed his name to Gerald before he killed him.
What? All right, it's time for Sunspots. So WorkSport is a pickup truck tonneau cover company based in Seneca, New York. They have announced their Solus line of solar tonneau covers and COR or core batteries and inverters to store that power. They say that they are about to release 3 and 4 panel models that fit the F-150 Lightning and the Rivian R1T pickup trucks.
So how much power do they generate?
WorkSport says a single truck can get 2,050 miles per year or 650 watts in direct sun.
So I don't think it's as much about mileage that it generates, and it's more about making power to cover uses like power tools and camping equipment when you're at a job site or at a campsite.
Why wouldn't it be about mileage?
Because 2,000 miles a year is a rosy number, and it isn't a lot. So I think it's probably going to be a bit less than that. It means that you're going to have to park with your car facing north if you want to be getting all of that energy, because the cab might block the solar panels.
So basically, you could be powering your tools just from this and not have to worry about losing any mileage, kind of.
Right. I mean, 650 watts, while it is a decent amount, it's not a ton. And I think that that's kind of the reason that we haven't seen that many solar vehicles, especially pickup trucks.
I think a lot of this is going to come down to pricing, and they haven't put out pricing yet. I mean, some of their other standard tonneau covers are in the $600 or $700 price range, but I'm assuming these are going to be a lot more. Especially, you're going to be able to choose different size core batteries, and obviously those are not cheap. So I just don't know if they're going to be able to pull off the price ratio, but let us know down in the comments whether you think this is something you'd like to add to your truck.
I mean, it's a neat idea, and I'm sure that's going to work for some people.
Yeah. Hey, and if you'd like to put solar on your house, but you don't really know the best way to do it, talk to our friends at Energy Pal. They'll help you go solar and battery for less because they are experts that do all that work for you for free. Let them know that Zach and Jesse sent you. All right, it's time for our video contributor stories. What do we got this week, Jess?
We got Robert, who's telling us about an EV company that's going out of business.
Oh, no.
Hello, Zach and Jesse. Robert Borkowski reporting to you from Maryland. I do have a bad news I need to share with you and your viewers. On Wednesday, the October 2nd, NLX in North America sent out abrupt email saying that they are terminating the business in the United States and Canada effective October 11th. 2024. So anybody that has any type of equipment, either that's level 3 DC fast charging or level 2 pay-per-use type of a hardware, they will stop working. They would not dispense electricity. So I would like to talk about specifically level 2 charging stations. Those are named Juicebox Pros. Those will be typically installed in the residential environment, destination charging, condominiums, restaurants. So it's very important to those individuals, the charge point operators, whether they are the board of directors of the condominium apartments, HOAs, that they need to make action. They have limited time before the equipment is being bricked, meaning it's not going to work at all. So I'll give you 3 options what you can do. Option number 1 is to migrate your hardware to a different enterprise provider. There's one company, you can look it up, it's called Charge Lab. Reach out to them. They might give you specific instructions how to go about it, but it's very time sensitive, meaning that before October 11 you have to have that done. So that's Friday, a few days away. The second option you might explore is actually unlocking your level 2 charging stations through the JuiceNet Enterprise platform. You will have to log in, and there's an option under the devices that shows unlock. The option unlocked would make those charging stations dispense the electricity for free. So that will at least give your tenants or your customers at least a way out when they need to charge the vehicle, because we're talking about very sensitive infrastructure of people actually depending on it to fuel their vehicles. So, meantime, unlock it. So that'll be a second option. The third option will be the replacement. Might be sounding a scary thing to do, but maybe that's the best and quickest solution, especially if the time of October 11 passes, meaning that the equipment is not going to be operable. So I want to share with you one of the things when I installed the juice boxes for my association down here in Maryland. We had 6 juice boxes, and within 10 months of operation I noticed that they were not performing as well. But besides that point, we actually opted in to replace them. We went with the Tesla chargers. Tesla provides, now they have the called universal wall connectors. There's actually built in an adapter for J1772, as well as the North American charging standard, which is the Tesla plug. Perhaps if Tesla still have inventory, you can actually install for your destination charger 2 types. One is with the regular Tesla plug, and the second unit is the same form factor. The only difference is the plate is black, but you can always replace it. And this one is with the J1772. Okay, so good thing about those units, they are plugged and charged for Tesla, and for non-Teslas you would need to use the Tesla app. So that would be the third option to replacement. The other point I would like to make as well is that many of those charge point operators, they did prepay. Like us, we did prepay for 3 years of the subscription to use the JuiceBox Enterprise software. So unfortunately there's not much information out there from NLX, but you need to look into requesting a refund for that prepaid subscription. The next point, the fifth point I'd like to make, is actually the plea to the utilities or any other manufacturers or EV charging. Maybe they have a connection to NLX management people, to ask them, keep the service alive past 11. Give your customers more time to adjust, to make the switch to different platform provider, or even replacement of the hardware. October 11th is not enough time. So I want to specifically make the plea to the utilities. I want to say it, I don't want to name any of them, but there is a big push in Maryland, state of New York, and probably different states, when utilities subsidized the Juice Boxes Pro and Juice Boxes regular home chargers, meaning that the ratepayers pay for it. So all of us paid for it eventually, and the NLX North America received the full financial benefit by selling the equipment. So big plea to utilities, contact the NLX North America, ask them to extend and do not shut down those servers. Keep them alive at least 6 months or maybe 1 year. Give your customers a chance to survive this, because we're talking about the infrastructure that people depend. Now you know.
Robert, thank you so much for informing all of us about, what we can do if this applies to you.
And remember, we need your stories, so send them to us 2 minutes or less. Shoot them in landscape with good audio and no music, and send them to hello@nowyouknowchannel.com so we can all know what's going on in the world. All right, time for our Patreon bonus stories. This week we have a lot of cool stuff for you guys who are patrons for just $1 a month. We've got things about the Tesla semi-truck. We've got things about Starlink, solar at GigaBerlin, and a controversy about Optimus. Please join us on Patreon. We'll see you there. All right, we're back from our Patreon bonus stories. It's time for the Patreon poll. What was the question?
Do you think that Tesla will sell a human driver version of the Cybercab?
And what did our patrons think?
It was pretty close. 55% said only the autonomous version, and 45% said both versions.
I get where a lot of people want to have the non-driverless version, but I just don't think Tesla's going to do it.
First of all, we don't know range numbers.
No.
We don't know any acceleration numbers.
No.
And a lot of these don't need to be that high, because if the thing is
you
not
you don't want to whip people's heads
car,
back.
Right. This could be a really dumbed down version. I know a lot of people are asking for that. I just think that they're not going to sell it.
I don't either.
No.
But we'll find out if we're right. All right, time for Elon's X's of the week. And SpaceX says, in addition to the thousands of Starlink kits that we're delivering in response to Hurricane Helene, the Starlink team and T-Mobile activated our direct-to-cell satellites to provide emergency alerts for all phones and carriers of those in affected areas.
Elon said, we have accelerated the rollout of Starlink direct-to-cell phone connectivity for areas affected by the hurricanes. This is being provided free of charge by SpaceX and T-Mobile to help those in need.
But what a jerk he is.
What an absolute ass. How could you be doing that? Sending alerts from space? What?
For free?
Leave me alone.
Colin Rugg says, new CNN panel admits that they messed up and drove Elon Musk away from the Democratic Party, says they should have respected his contributions to the world. The panel blasted the Biden administration for purposely excluding Musk from events.
Elon said, it's a factor.
And Gunther said, the Democrat woke mind virus lost Elon.
I think where the Democrats started to lose Elon was actually personal. We should have celebrated his contributions to electric vehicles, even though he was against unionization and stood up to unions. We should have said, look, Starlink, great product. That needs to be used.
And Elon went on to say that was the showstopper. So yeah, like we've been saying for years, it was the Democrats being this way towards Elon that made him finally leave.
No reason.
Right.
I mean, it's because he didn't like unions. And it's like, you didn't have to say, Elon, we love your policy on unions. Keep bashing unions, Elon. You didn't have to say that. You could have just said he was leading instead of Mary Barra, the loser.
Jonah Katz says, I'm a big believer in the positive impact community notes has on the world.
Elon says, best thing on the internet for truth.
Mays says, remember Kamala's word salad answer about Israel on 60 Minutes? It's gone. This is what many Americans will now see.
Elon said, major cleanup needed at 60 Minutes. Producers need to be fired. They edited an interview I once did with them. My actual words were, I can do what I want at Tesla, provided that shareholders agree. They deleted the last 4 words, giving my statement the opposite meaning.
Tim Urban posted how people got around in 190 BC, horseback, horse-drawn carriage, sailboat. 2,000 years later, how people got around in 1810, horseback, horse-drawn carriage, sailboat. 160 years later, how people got around in 1970, bike, train, subway, car, bus, airplane, spaceship.
Elon said the amount of usable energy per human went ballistic.
And he went on to say, and all transport will be fully autonomous within 50 years, except feet. Brett Winton from ARK Invest says, estimate that over 90% of U.S. vehicle miles are single or double occupancy, in case anyone's wondering in the next few hours why a 2-seat Cybercab might make sense.
And Elon said exactly.
Governor Tim Walz says, today we announced $52 million in grants to expand broadband access to over 7,500 homes and businesses in Minnesota. By connecting Minnesotans to businesses, education, and healthcare through broadband, we're making Minnesota the best place to work, live, and do business.
Alex Stapp said this is $7,000 per home. For the love of God, just give people Starlink terminals instead.
Elon said this will die on the vine. Physics very strongly favors satellite connectivity for low to medium population density. Aiden Gold says, Elon is really about to send starships full of humanoid robots to Mars in the 2030s to start building the base, isn't he?
Elon said, hopefully millions of humans too.
Aiden says, good to get those robots setting things up for human arrival.
And Elon said 100%.
Phil Doohan says, I work with the best people on the most inspiring projects in the world. I love Tesla.
And Elon responded.
Ashok Alaswamy, Tesla's head of AI and autopilot, said, robo-fucking-taxi.
And Elon said 100%.
Elon said, for my time-based predictions, I generally aim for the 50th percentile date, which means that half my predictions will be late and half will be early. The press never mentions the predictions that were early, so it seems like I'm always late. However, it is very rare that a prediction I make does not come true over time. Brendan Carr of the FCC said this week the Biden-Harris administration said we are well on our way to connecting everyone with high-speed internet. Well on the way? Their $42 billion effort isn't even underway.
Elon said still 0 people connected by the government program where they revoked the SpaceX award.
The Information said Elon Musk claims to have finished a 100,000-strong H100 cluster in 4 months. How likely is that?
Elon said if they don't believe the 100,000, they definitely don't believe the 200,000.
Ghali said we're on the cusp of diverging from the idiocracy timeline.
Elon said, I sure hope so.
Sawyer Merritt says news, the California Coastal Commission has rejected the Air Force's plan to allow SpaceX to launch up to 50 rockets annually from Vandenberg, citing Elon Musk's political posts on X. Both the Air Force and Space Force supported the plan. Insane.
Elon said the California Coastal Commission should be dissolved as an organization, an utterly insufferable and misanthropic group of Karens if there ever was one.
He went on to say their idea of the perfect coastline is one where there are 0 humans or even signs of human. Anyone who has any dealings with them will attest to this. They should not exist. Incredibly inappropriate. What I post on this platform has nothing to do with the Coastal Commission in California filing suit against them on Monday for violating the First Amendment. Oh, sorry, Tuesday, since the court is closed on Monday.
And Hassan said, my God, can a state in the U.S. be so stupid?
And Elon said, California. Elon went on to say political tribalism really does break most people's brains.
S.E. Robinson Jr. said the U.S. Space Force and military can 100% ignore this and launch anyway.
And Elon agreed. Palmer Luckey said California, citing Elon's personal political activity in denying permission for rocket launches, is obviously illegal. But the crazier thing, in my opinion, is how they cite his refusal to activate Starlink in Russian territory at the request of Ukraine. Doing so would have been a crime.
Elon said exactly. Crimea was a sanctioned region, which is why our beams were not activated there. SpaceX cannot violate sanctions at the request of a foreign government. That would be a felony criminal action. We did not receive a request from the U.S. government.
Then Elon said profile pic changed to Starship Flight 5. And then he posted, good morning.
Showing the Starship landing.
Eric Berger says, is this real life? Because it feels like science fiction.
Elon said science fiction without the fiction part.
Jared Isaacman said, do you believe now?
Elon said if civilization is reasonably stable for the next roughly 30 years, a self-sustaining city of 1 million+ people will be built on Mars.
And Doge Designer put a quote from Donald Trump saying Elon Musk will be the Secretary of Cost Cutting.
Elon said, I hope to be able to serve in this capacity.
And it's time for Community Mail Time.
Community Mail Time.
I got to start out with the best one this week.
Really?
Yep.
All right.
Brian's sister spotted this.
Whoa.
Was that Batman?
So it looks like maybe Batman is finally trading in his Batmobile.
Yeah, that's a way better Batmobile.
And I didn't know that Batman lived in Hood River, Oregon.
Well, it's a secret lair, so you weren't supposed to know. Brian also spotted this Model 3 driver's ed car. That is the company I would want to take my driver's ed in.
Definitely.
But how are you going to know how to shift? What happens if the car stalls?
You know, I used to have a driver's ed teacher that would fall asleep, so I would just put it in FSD, you know. And
oh, that's what you do. Interesting. Paul found a ton of Cybertrucks at a switchyard in Hutto, Texas, about 35 miles north of Giga, Texas.
Caroline spotted this Cybertruck in Palisade, Colorado. She left them a thank you duck on their wing mirror.
Warren spotted this Cybertruck in Kenmore, Washington.
Steve says, don't be like this guy. You don't have to be in another brand of EV to take up 2 spaces.
Although, wouldn't you always be blocking at least 2 stalls if you park there?
Right. So this is the Victor New York Supercharger. That's weird. It's like they designed it wrong.
Right. Because, I mean, if you pulled in, you'd be blocking the one in front of you. If you backed in...
Well, is there parking on the other side of that, maybe?
I don't think so. It looks like you're going to almost always be blocking at least 2 stalls. Now, this guy's blocking 3.
Right.
This guy obviously...
Unless there is parking back there. I mean, yes, he is blocking 3. Look, we need some help. Comment down below if you know the Supercharger. Let's maybe get a diagram going.
I think this guy's a chess master.
Maybe.
Justin spotted this wrapped Cybertruck in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. This was at the Family Days on the Farm, which is a local farm event where a lot of Amish people live.
Wait, is that solar on the tonneau cover?
I think so.
How? How'd they do that?
I don't know. So please, someone reach out to Belmont Solar and find out. I mean, it could just be paint, but it's a cool thing, regardless if it's paint or if it's really solar panels.
James spotted this wrapped Cybertruck outside of the Bell Ranch Supply in Boerne, Texas.
Tom sent in this picture of them using the telephone pole mounted charger in Melrose, Massachusetts.
I'm glad to see that's still working.
Apparently there's like 23 of these around Melrose.
Yeah.
It's a really good idea for New England because of snow plowing.
Let's do a Now We Adventure bike ride through Melrose and see if we can find all 23 of them. Cody and Risa spotted a bunch of neat EVs. So one is the Zook self-driving vehicle in front of the Bellagio on the Las Vegas Strip.
They spotted this Cadillac Lyric at a Costco in San Diego, California.
They said this is our 2-inch lifted Model Y with 1-inch bigger tires off-roading the Anza Borrego Desert near Octilio, California.
And they spotted this bright green Cybertruck parked in front of the Woolworth building in New York, New York.
I'm getting tired of all of the scaffolding in New York. Can someone there put an end to this? Like, the whole city is just scaffolding all the time.
What do you want them to do? They got to fix the building.
No, it's all because they passed a stupid law because one thing fell off in like 1986. So it ruins the city. And it's actually more people have died on the scaffolding than things falling off the building. So you made a new problem. Good job, New York.
Warren spotted this purple wrapped Model Y in Kirkland, Washington.
Is that where they make Kirkland signature products for Costco?
I don't think so.
And Caroline just got her Chevy EV Blazer after driving her Nissan Leaf for 5 years. Congratulations, Caroline. And remember, share your stories, photos, and videos with us at hello@nowyouknowchannel.com. It's time for the EV tip of the week. If you have a Cybertruck, and you didn't know this because I didn't know this, if you max out both the bass and the subwoofer controls in the Cybertruck on the EQ there's an Easter egg where you get new labels like Wub Wub, Boost, and Slappin'.
Oh.
Not really necessary, but
that's fun.
But fun. All right, time for Supercharger reviews. Let's see what people have found out there in the world.
Hi, I'm Greta at the Kearney, Nebraska 8-stall version 3 Supercharger. There is a pull-in charger and there are decent manufacturing options around, but since it's so far off Interstate 80, I'd only give it a 5 out of 10 on the Jesse scale. Now you know.
Hey, Zach and Jesse, this is Greg from Pennsylvania. I'm now at the Wawa in Boothwyn, PA. This Supercharger has been here for a little while now, but I just drove about 1.25 miles up from the Aston, PA Supercharger that I just sent another review in for. That one was out of Royal Farms. This one's out of Wawa. I'm going to rate them both a 5 out of 10. This one's in a little better location, so it gets an extra point, but this is just the V3 Superchargers instead of the newer 3 Plus or whatever the other one is down in Aston. Now you know.
Hi, Zach and Jesse. This is Mark. I am at the Gold Ranch Casino, just outside of Reno and Verdi. There's a brand new 21 stall Supercharger and one pull through right there. It's right off the Interstate 80. There is a cafe in the casino. It's open 24/7. No, the cafe is only open until 9. Casino's open 24/7. A Jack in the Box, Subway sandwich, also inside. An RV park, which is really nice. And I think it said Jack in the Box. It's a really nice area, a good place to walk your dog. Lots of trees, pretty beautiful. And it's, I think I said, right off the interstate, easy to get off and easy to get back on. So I'll give this a 6 out of 10. Now you know.
Hey, Zach and Jesse. Here at the San Juan Capistrano, Verdugo Street. Supercharger. It's a version 3 12-stall Supercharger in the birthplace of California, right in the shadow of the Mission at San Juan Capistrano. Probably 12 restaurants within a quarter mile of here. It's about 6 bars as well. And Zach and Jesse, I haven't heard anybody say this before, but pickleball is across the street down there. So you can get in a couple games while your car's charging. All right, so that's where it is. I'd rate this a 10 out of 10. It's got everything you would ever need. And now you know.
Hello, Zach and Jesse. I am in Bishop, California at the second Supercharger station that was installed here. I think it's been here for a while. It's a 250 kilowatt, 24 stall station. And this is probably the best setup I've seen for a Supercharger because every single spot all the way down are all pull-throughs. So great for people traveling, and it's Bishop, California, so great for people bringing up their campers or RVs. Come around to this stall. It's a single stall and it has nice room, plenty of room for you to pull through. And then over there they have a handicap spot, and then just a larger spot, a back end spot. Amenities wise, on the other side of these buildings right here, if you walk right through the little alleyway that's lit up, there's restaurants, there's a sporting goods store and an auto zone, so just in case you need someone to show up for fluid. Other than that, if you can see over there, it's not quite walking distance. You probably have to drive, but there is a casino with a nice restaurant, good food. Yeah, I'd probably rate this probably 9 out of 10 for sure, just because of these huge spots. It's Bishop, California. During the day, there's a beautiful view of the mountains. There's restaurants. Yeah. Now you know.
Thank you so much for doing Supercharger reviews. If you want to check them all out, you can head over to our website, nowyouknowchannel.com. We got a big Supercharger map with all the Superchargers on it, and you can upload your reviews there as well.
I think it's the only place on the interwebs where you can do that and find that. So thank you for doing it. All right, what do we got for new Superchargers this week?
We got the 3-stall in Guangzhou, China.
We have the 163rd Supercharger in South Korea, the 4-stall in Seoul.
We got the 8-stall in Munchen, Germany.
We have number 138 in Norway, a 12-stall version 4 in Røros, Norway.
The 12-stall version 4 in Moors, Germany.
Number 224 in Canada is the 20-stall version 4 in Surrey, British Columbia.
The 12-stall version 4 in Mansfield, UK.
Number 199 in Germany is the 8-stall version 4 in Sangerhausen, Germany.
The first Supercharger in Chile, it is a 4-stall version 4 in Quilicura, Chile.
Number 151 in the UK is the 12-stall version 4 in Hai, UK.
Number 2 in Chile is the 4-stall in Caroma, Chile.
Yeah, I think we brought these to you before they were actually online. We had pictures and stuff. Number 2133 in China is the 3-stall in Hangzhou.
Number 35 in Finland and 1,278 in Europe is the 8-stall version 4 in Jalasjärvi, Finland.
We have an expansion from 8 to 12-stall version 3 and 4 in Mikkeli, Finland.
Number 501 in California is the 8-stall version 4 in Fairfield, California.
And number 172 in Texas, number 2411 in the US, number 6694 in the world is the 16-stall version 4 in Robstown, Texas.
And thank you for spending your valuable time with us today.
What an exciting week we all just had. I say all because just like the first flight at Kitty Hawk 121 years ago, all of humanity benefited from Orville and Wilbur's perseverance. Just 8 years after that first flight came the first transcontinental flight across the United States.
What seemed impossible to almost everyone before 1903 became commonplace by the 1920s.
We just saw a super heavy booster get caught by Mechazilla arms, and Cybercab safely carry hundreds of people around a pretend city. Well, guess what? It has begun. Elon just said, once there is an intercontinental railroad equivalent for space, millions of companies will prosper, just as happened with the US West Coast. And we're about to have self-driving robotaxis, intercontinental Starship passenger flights, and humanoid robots. And we're going to be right here to bring all of this and more to you.
Thank you for being awesome. We'll see you guys next week. Now you know.